After my husband cheated, I moved to London. 8 months later, he was marrying his mistress, my former best friend. I called her fiancé an hour before the ceremony and said, "Congratulations. Just so you know, she has a pattern. 3 married men in 2 years. My husband was number 3. Check her old phone records if you don't believe me." He laughed nervously and hung up. The wedding never happened. She called me that night screaming. But when her fiancé showed up at my London apartment 2 weeks later with a folder full of evidence, we discovered something that made the affair look like nothing. My husband wasn't just cheating. He'd been stealing from his company for 5 years. And my best friend? She wasn't a mistress. She was his accomplice. Hey everyone, I'm Victoria Hayes, I'm 34 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most insane story of betrayal, revenge, corporate fraud, and the moment I realized my entire marriage was a lie. This isn't just about infidelity. This is about discovering that the 2 people you trusted most were running a criminal operation right under your nose. I need to set the stage properly because this story has more layers than anyone could imagine. I met my husband, Marcus Hayes, when I was 25. He was 28, working as an accountant at a mid-sized investment firm called Apex Financial. I was a graphic designer at an advertising agency. We met at a mutual friend's party, hit it off immediately, and were married within 2 years. Marcus was charming, ambitious, and detail-oriented. He was great with numbers, always talking about maximizing returns and strategic investments. I thought he was just passionate about his career. My best friend, Olivia Chen, had been in my life since college. We were inseparable, roommates, confidants, practically sisters. When Marcus and I got married, Olivia was my maid of honor. When she went through a bad breakup, she stayed with us for 3 months. We were that close. Marcus and Olivia tolerated each other. They were never best friends, but they got along fine. Or so I thought. For 5 years, my life was good. We had a nice house in the suburbs, good jobs, plans for kids someday. Marcus worked long hours, often staying late at the office or traveling for business. I trusted him completely. Olivia was around constantly. Girls' nights, dinners, shopping trips. She'd come over when Marcus was working late and we'd watch movies and drink wine. Sometimes she'd still be there when Marcus got home at midnight. I thought I had the perfect life. A successful husband. A best friend I could count on. A career I enjoyed. Then, 9 months ago, everything exploded. I came home early from a work trip. I'd been in Chicago for a conference and caught an earlier flight home. It was a Thursday afternoon, around 2 p.m. When I walked into my house, I heard noises from upstairs. My bedroom. I stood in the hallway, frozen, listening to my husband having sex with someone. In our bed. I could have walked away. Called a lawyer. Filed for divorce. But something made me open that door. Marcus was in bed with Olivia. My husband. My best friend. In my bed. They saw me. Marcus went pale. Olivia screamed and grabbed the sheets. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, staring at them. "Vic, I can explain," Marcus started. "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't insult me by pretending this is the first time." His face confirmed everything. I turned to Olivia. "How long?" She couldn't look at me. "Vic, I'm sorry. How long?" 2 years, she whispered. 2 years. My best friend and my husband had been having an affair for 2 years. While she stayed at our house. While she cried to me about her dating problems. While she helped me plan our anniversary dinner. I walked out of that room, packed a bag, and left. I filed for divorce the next day. Moved into a hotel. Started separating our finances. Marcus tried everything. Calls, texts, emails, showing up at my work. "It's over with Olivia. It was a mistake. We can work through this." I blocked him. Told my lawyer to handle everything. But here's what I didn't know, what I wouldn't discover until much later. While the divorce was processing, I applied for a job transfer. My company had an office in London, and I desperately wanted to get away from everything. Start fresh. New country, new life. The transfer was approved. 6 weeks after I found them together, I moved to London. The divorce was finalized remotely 3 months later. Marcus got the house, I didn't want it anyway. We split other assets. I took my half and left the country. I thought it was over. Then, 8 months after I moved to London, I got a wedding invitation in the mail. Marcus and Olivia were getting married. They'd sent me an actual invitation. Like I'd want to celebrate them. I stared at that invitation for an hour. Part of me wanted to burn it. Part of me wanted to fly back and confront them. But then I had a different idea. I looked up Marcus's new phone number through mutual friends. Then I did some digging and found Olivia's fiancé's information from the wedding website they'd created. Wait, Olivia's fiancé? I read the invitation again. Marcus Hayes and Olivia Chen invite you to celebrate their wedding. But the website said Olivia Chen and Bradley Morrison. I was confused for a moment, then I realized Olivia had a different fiancé. Someone named Bradley Morrison. I dug deeper. Bradley Morrison was 35, a real estate developer, recently divorced, apparently wealthy. According to the wedding website, Olivia and Bradley had been dating for 6 months. 6 months. That meant she started dating Bradley around the same time I left for London. So what happened to Marcus? I called my sister, who still lived in town. Katie, what's going on with Marcus and Olivia? Oh my God, you don't know. They broke up like 3 months ago. It was ugly. Olivia dumped him and started dating some rich real estate guy right away. Marcus was devastated. And now she's marrying this guy? Yeah. The wedding's this weekend. It's all over social media. Olivia's posting about her soulmate and the one like she didn't destroy your marriage. I hung up and stared at my phone. Olivia hadn't just stolen my husband. She'd used him as a rebound, dumped him, and moved on to someone wealthier. An idea formed in my head. Petty. Maybe. Justified. Absolutely. I found Bradley Morrison's phone number through some creative social media stalking and business directories. The wedding was on Saturday. On Saturday morning, at 10 a.m., 1 hour before the ceremony, I called him. A man answered. Hello? Is this Bradley Morrison? Yes, who is this? My name is Victoria Hayes. You don't know me, but I know Olivia Chen. Your fiancé. Silence. I'm calling because I think you should know something before you marry her. Olivia has a pattern. She targets married men. In the past 2 years, she's had affairs with at least 3 that I know of. My husband was one of them. Who is this? Is this a joke? I wish it was. My name is Victoria Hayes. You can Google me, you'll find my divorce records from Marcus Hayes. Olivia Chen was the reason for our divorce. She had a 2-year affair with my husband while pretending to be my best friend. When my husband wanted to leave me for her, she was all in. But the second I filed for divorce and left the country, she dumped him and found you. I don't believe you. Check her old phone records. Check her social media DMs. Check with Marcus Hayes, he'll tell you everything. She doesn't love you, Bradley. She loves what you represent. Wealth, stability, status. The same things she wanted from Marcus until she found someone better. This is insane. One more thing. Ask her about the text messages she was sending my husband 6 months ago. Even after she started dating you, she was still in contact with him. Insurance policy, maybe? In case things didn't work out with you. That part was a lie. But I wanted to plant doubt. He was silent for a long moment. Then, if this is true, it's true. Congratulations on your wedding day. I hope you make the right choice. I hung up. I sat in my London apartment, heart pounding, wondering if I'd just made a huge mistake or the most satisfying phone call of my life. Hours passed. I checked Olivia's Instagram obsessively. She'd been posting all morning, getting ready photos, bridesmaids, flowers. Then, nothing. Radio silence after 11 a.m. At 8 p.m. London time, 3 p.m. in my old hometown, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. You bitch. Olivia's voice screamed through the phone. You ruined my wedding. How could you? Hello, Olivia. How was your big day? You called Bradley. You told him lies. He called off the wedding. In front of everyone. I didn't tell him lies. I told him the truth. You had an affair with my husband for 2 years. That's fact, not fiction. You had no right. I had every right. You destroyed my marriage. I simply informed your fiancé about your character. What he did with that information was his choice. Bradley is furious. He's demanding access to my old phone records. He's investigating everything. You've ruined my life. No, Olivia. You ruined your own life. I just held up a mirror. She was crying now. Vic, please. Call him. Tell him you lied. Tell him it was a misunderstanding. Why would I do that? Because we were friends once. Because you owe me. I laughed. Actually laughed. I owe you. I owe the woman who fucked my husband in my bed for 2 years? You're delusional. Please, Vic. I'm begging you. Bradley is my only chance at what? Financial security. Status. Love. You don't love him, Olivia. You loved what he could give you. Just like you loved what Marcus could give you until someone better came along. I did love Marcus, then why did you dump him the second I left? Silence. Goodbye, Olivia. Have a nice life. I hung up and blocked her number. I thought that was the end of it. Petty revenge executed. Wedding ruined. Justice served. But 2 weeks later, someone knocked on my London apartment door. I opened it to find a man I'd never met. Tall, well-dressed, holding a leather folder. Victoria Hayes. Yes. I'm Bradley Morrison. Olivia's ex-fiancé. Can I come in? I need to talk to you about something that affects both of us. I hesitated, then let him in. We sat in my living room, and Bradley opened his folder. After your call, I did what you suggested. I hired a private investigator. I went through Olivia's finances, phone records, everything. And I found something much bigger than an affair. He handed me a document. It was a bank statement. For an offshore account. In Olivia's name. What am I looking at? Olivia has $2.3 million in this account. Money she deposited over the past 5 years in small increments. Money she claims came from freelance consulting work. But she's never had a consulting business. She works in HR. I stared at the statement. Where did this money come from? That's what I wanted to ask you. Because according to these records, the deposits started around the same time she began her affair with your ex-husband, Marcus. And Marcus works in finance, correct? My blood ran cold. He's an accountant at Apex Financial. Bradley pulled out more documents. I did some digging into Marcus's employment. He's been with Apex for 7 years. And for the past 5 years, Apex has been experiencing what they call accounting discrepancies. Small amounts here and there. Tens of thousands of dollars going missing in ways that are hard to track. You think Marcus was stealing from his company? I think Marcus was stealing from his company with Olivia's help. Small amounts, regularly, funneled through various accounts and eventually landing in Olivia's offshore account. The affair wasn't just an affair. It was a partnership. A criminal partnership. I felt sick. How much? Best estimate. Around $2.5 million over 5 years. Olivia has $2.3 million. My guess is Marcus has the rest hidden somewhere. Why are you telling me this? Bradley leaned forward. Because I want justice. Olivia ruined our wedding, humiliated me in front of 200 people, and I found out she was planning to access my accounts after we got married. She had all my banking information, power of attorney documents ready to sign. She wasn't marrying me for love. She was setting up her next score. So you want me to help you expose them? I want you to help me expose them. I've already contacted the FBI. They're investigating Apex Financial. But they need evidence. They need someone who knows Marcus, who understands his patterns, who can help build a case. I stared at the documents in front of me. My ex-husband wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal. And my former best friend was his accomplice. I'm in, I said. Over the next 3 months, Bradley and I worked with federal investigators. We provided evidence of Marcus and Olivia's relationship timeline, showing it started right around when the financial irregularities began at Apex. We provided access to old emails, text messages, financial records. We testified about behavioral patterns, Marcus's late nights at work, Olivia's sudden expensive purchases despite her moderate HR salary. The FBI investigation uncovered everything. Marcus had been creating fake vendors, approving fraudulent invoices, and funneling money out of Apex Financial. Olivia had been helping him by setting up shell companies, opening offshore accounts, and laundering the money. The affair was real, but it was secondary to the crime. They were business partners first, lovers second. Marcus and Olivia were arrested 6 months after my phone call to Bradley. The trial was 6 months after that. Marcus was convicted of embezzlement, wire fraud, and money laundering. He was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Olivia was convicted as an accomplice. She was sentenced to 8 years. Apex Financial sued them both for restitution. The offshore accounts were frozen and seized. Every dollar they'd stolen was reclaimed. During the trial, more details came out. Marcus had started the embezzlement scheme 5 years into our marriage. When he realized he needed help moving the money without detection, he'd recruited Olivia, who had access to HR systems and employee information at her own company, which helped her create false identities for shell companies. The affair started as a way to meet secretly without arousing suspicion. If anyone saw them together, they could claim it was innocent, just Vic's husband and Vic's best friend hanging out. But over time, the affair became real. They fell for each other. Or at least, they convinced themselves they had. When I found them together, Marcus had panicked. He wanted to leave me immediately, run away with Olivia and the money. But Olivia was smarter. She knew a sudden divorce and disappearance would trigger investigations. So she convinced Marcus to wait, to let the divorce happen naturally, to keep stealing for a few more months to hit their target amount. But when I left for London and Marcus became obsessed with getting me back, Olivia realized he was a liability. He was emotional, unstable, desperate. So she cut him loose and found Bradley, a legitimate wealthy man who could give her the life she wanted without the criminal baggage. She planned to marry Bradley, access his accounts, and eventually take enough money to disappear. Marcus was supposed to be left holding the bag when Apex inevitably discovered the theft. My phone call ruined everything. Bradley investigated. The FBI got involved. And the whole house of cards collapsed. At Marcus's sentencing, he tried to speak to me. I was there as a witness. Vic, I'm sorry. For everything. The affair, the lies, the theft. I know you'll never forgive me. But I need you to know, I did love you. At the beginning, I really did. I looked at him. The man I'd married. The man I trusted. The man who'd destroyed everything. I don't care if you loved me, I said quietly. You used me. You used my trust, my friendship with Olivia, my belief in our marriage. You built an entire criminal operation behind my back and used my best friend to do it. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. He didn't respond. At Olivia's sentencing, she tried to apologize too. Vic, I was a terrible friend. I know that. But I was in love with Marcus. I made bad choices because of that love. You weren't in love, I said. You were in business together. The affair was just a side effect of the crime. Don't pretend this was some grand romance. You stole from Apex. You betrayed me. And when Marcus became inconvenient, you threw him away and tried to run the same scam on Bradley. You're not a victim of love. You're a con artist. She started crying, but I didn't care. Bradley and I stayed in touch after everything. He thanked me repeatedly for that phone call. If you hadn't called me, I would have married her. She would have drained my accounts within a year. You saved me. You saved me too, I said. I thought the affair was the worst betrayal. Finding out about the theft, about the whole operation, it gave me closure. It wasn't about me being a bad wife or not being enough. It was about them being criminals. Bradley and I became friends. Genuinely. We'd both been targets of the same con. We'd both helped bring down the people who'd hurt us. A year after the trial, Bradley invited me to dinner. We'd been talking regularly, meeting up when I visited the States, video calling from London. Victoria, I need to tell you something, he said over dinner. Okay. I think I'm falling for you. I stared at him. Bradley, we met because I ruined your wedding. You saved me from the worst mistake of my life. And over the past year, I've gotten to know you. The real you. You're brilliant, funny, resilient, and you didn't let betrayal destroy you. You fought back. You got justice. And I admire the hell out of you. I didn't know what to say. I'm not asking you to marry me, he continued. I'm not even asking you to date me yet. I'm just asking if you'd be open to seeing where this goes. Slowly. No pressure. Just two people who've been through hell and came out stronger. I thought about it. About how different Bradley was from Marcus. How genuine, how honest, how he'd stood by me through the investigation when he didn't have to. Slowly, I agreed. Let's see where this goes. That was 18 months ago. Today, Bradley and I are engaged. For real this time. No hidden agendas, no criminal enterprises, just two people who found each other in the wreckage of other people's betrayals. I moved back to the States 6 months ago. We're getting married next spring. Small ceremony, close friends only. People we actually trust. Marcus and Olivia are both in prison. They'll be there for years. They lost everything, their freedom, their money, their reputations. And me. I lost a husband and a best friend who were never really mine to begin with. But I gained something better. Truth. Justice. And a second chance at love with someone who actually deserves it. So here's what I learned from all this. 1. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, investigate. Don't ignore red flags because you want to believe the best in people. 2. Betrayal often goes deeper than you think. My husband wasn't just cheating. He was stealing. The affair was just the surface. 3. Sometimes the pettiest revenge leads to the biggest justice. I called Bradley to ruin a wedding. That call ultimately exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. 4. The people who betray you aren't crying over losing you. They're crying over getting caught. And 5. Life has a weird sense of humor. I ruined Olivia's wedding to spite her. Now I'm marrying her ex-fiancé and we're both happier than we've ever been. Marcus and Olivia thought they were so smart. They thought they could steal millions, destroy lives, and ride off into the sunset together. Instead, they're in prison. Their money is gone. Their future is destroyed. And I'm planning a wedding to a man who actually loves me, respects me, and would never dream of using me as cover for a crime. Was I petty for making that phone call? Absolutely. Do I regret it? Not for 1 second. Because that phone call didn't just ruin a wedding. It exposed the truth, brought criminals to justice, and gave me closure I didn't know I needed. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting people. It's about revealing who they really are and letting the consequences unfold naturally. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment about a time your petty revenge led to something bigger. Share this with someone who needs to hear that sometimes the universe rewards your worst impulses with the best outcomes. Until next time, remember that the truth always comes out. Sometimes it just needs a little push. And sometimes that push comes from an angry ex-wife making one phone call before a wedding. This is Victoria Hayes, soon to be Victoria Morrison, signing off. The woman who ruined a wedding and exposed a crime ring with one phone call.